And I know you're probably thinking, oh, it's a black thing. No, it's not that he's black that it caught me off guard.
Nah, it was not at all.
It's that he's very much Denzel.
Yeah, in it.
Yeah,
He's Denzel.
yeah, he's Denzel.
No.
He's Denzel in Gladiator.
You're right. He's Alonzo.
Yes.
In Gladiator. Yes, exactly. I'm
That
with
is
you.
how black people see it.
It's a crazy couple of years, for being honest. Never forget.
Never forget.
Yo.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
America.
Moment of silence.
Yeah. Where were you?
Now look over here.
Where
and
was
watch this
I?
drop.
Yeah.
We're talking for 9/11.
Yeah.
I was in middle school.
You remember it? Like what happened that day? Like
Loosely, yeah. Two planes flew into the Twin Towers.
I know. Like no. My God.
86, baby. Get your headphones on.
I forgot.
We're firing this
I'm the
episode off.
co-host here. There we go.
Now, how to first of all, everybody's back. Thank God.
Everybody's here.
Hello.
Say hi.
It's a real big day.
Hey, man.
Everyone showed up. Okay. You want to get something off your chest real quick for America's sake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Light for America.
That's right. That's right.
So tell me where you got this from, and tell everybody what it is and what I'm doing.
That is a Freedom Funnel, sir. It's an American Eagle.
America.
And
Pour beer in it.
it's you pour beer in its back, and then you kind of, rip it out the back end.
Out of his ass.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty incredible product. There you go. God bless.
Still got a taste in there.
God bless, dude. For the troops.
For the troops.
For the troops.
That was refreshing.
Yeah,
God
pretty
bless
good.
America.
Pretty good.
God bless Sharon Stone.
Yeah, so you rip a couple of those on July
4th of July.
4th.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
That was great, man. I'm
not
refreshed
bad.
now.
That's right. All right, on today's episode, we're diving into a bottle of Holladay Soft Red Wheat. Now, we've had a bottle of theirs before. And
I was about to say, that sounds familiar.
we all enjoyed it quite a bit. I think it's called Ben Holladay is what, I think that's, if you're looking at labels, I believe the prior label says Ben Holladay on it. And I think that's kind of the distillery or the distiller is Ben Holladay. It is Missouri straight bourbon whiskey. Very little information on the bottle. 6 years old is what it says. You do get some information in regards to which building it was distilled in, the
Bottled in
floor, etc. 100 proof.
Oh, great. Glad I ate.
Yeah. Rickhouse C is what it says. Fall 2017. So anyway, because we enjoyed the last bottle, I just thought, why not? We'll give this a little shot, see how it goes.
Why not?
Dive right in. See what's up.
Let's
Now-
see how that. Let's get that.
There's
pop.
no
cork.
no cork on the Ben Holladay bottles.
They don't do corks in Missouri.
And is that a fact?
That's a fact.
Absolutely not.
All right, love it.
You believed it, though.
I definitely was like
I
that sounded
I
very
went
like
with you.
Yeah.
I went with you. I like to think that they're putting the money into the whiskey and not the bottle. We had this conversation on the last episode.
Yeah,
How
I
some
enjoy
bottles get a little carried away.
a handsome bottle, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I much rather what's in the bottle taste.
100%.
Yeah.
I like the look of this bottle. I think the label is very nice. I think their packaging has been pretty solid. And again, it's a modest bottle.
Yeah.
I wouldn't throw
cool.
it in like the overly handsome category, but it, I don't know. It
You
feels
said this was
appropriate.
2017?
2017 is what it says.
All right, so according to the website, in 2019, the law was enacted requiring that any whiskey labeled as Missouri bourbon
Yeah.
must not only meet the federal standard for bourbon, but must also be mashed, fermented, distilled, aged, and bottled in the state.
Very
in
good.
oak barrels manufactured in the state, and beginning in 2020, made with corn exclusively grown in the state. So this is prior to that, of course.
Hell
so we're
yeah.
not sure how much is from Missouri, but here we are.
Bottle of lies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, Bruce.
Bottle of lies.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. And to the Miller Lite and to the Freedom Funnel.
And to America.
That's
America.
right. God bless.
Microphone.
Oh,
got
that's
moved to this
good.
side, so I can't really lean too much.
Oh, that's a good one.
Something light and easy.
Soft red wheat.
73% corn, 15% wheat, 12% barley.
Bottled, marched.
It's nice. Very, very full in flavor.
Yeah.
Very full in flavor.
enjoy it.
I like it quite a bit so far. We'll sit with it for a bit. Kanye West,
What'd he do?
apparently he's retiring from music.
He needs to. It's
That's
time. It's time.
that's his most recent messaging, is that he's out of the game. Now, Vultures 2, I guess, was supposedly on the horizon, but maybe it's shelved indefinitely. And you are good with it? Great with it? Whatever happened to Vultures 1?
It came out.
Was it on Apple Music?
Yes.
Spotify? Did it?
It was
or
actually
it
pretty
distributed
decent.
some weird way.
It was on Apple. Kanye does these weird kind of manic rollouts with albums.
Yeah.
And as a fan of, I'm a fan of Kanye. I'm not a fan of Kanye's antics, but I'm a very big fan of his music. He's a great producer, great orchestrator, and the music kind of always just kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And we don't have any kind of record of him doing any Diddy stuff. So
Not yet.
I think we can in some regard look at the antics like they're bad, but they're not that bad, right? They're not that bad. So I give him a pass here and there when he's doing his manic thing. But the music has never suffered. The music has kind of always been good. Like even Donda was like a somewhat kind of like his ode to like the religious genre of music, and it was still like it was still good
because he was holding church service.
Yeah, Sunday
right?
service. Yeah,
Sunday service for quite some time.
With them called Sunday service. So
that's coming. That came and went though, right? He's not.
Yeah,
he's not currently.
He did he did the thing with Drake on Amazon for it, right? Well, that was for Donda, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm looking at you for confirmation.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then Vultures came out, and he did like something else for it. I don't know. I saw like stuff on Instagram of him with like everybody that was on the album, because it was a co-album with him and Ty Dolla $ign.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was really good. So I don't really believe anything that Kanye says though.
Sure. Gotta take it with a grain of salt, right?
Right. We believe
say.
things that like Jay-Z says, and he said he's gonna retire like 3 different times.
Yep.
So for Kanye to say he's gonna retire, I don't.
But has Jay-Z been putting out full-length records since he technically retired?
Yes. He's retired once.
Yeah, he retired in 03. So
Yeah. And then he came back. And then he retired again. And then he came back.
And then
And he was kind of like quasi retired right now.
Sure.
And then he released 444.
And then he's back again. Well, he's not back, but there's been like rumors, if insider
Got you.
that he's
doing something.
He's doing something.
Cooking.
Yeah, we don't know what it is.
All right.
So.
Very good.
But,
so you're good with Kanye sunsetting his musical career should he decide to do so.
I don't take anything he says very seriously.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's got like a weird thing with like high fashion, no? Doesn't he have like some kind of...
He considers himself
pretty
a fashion
invested.
aficionado.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I know he had his brand, but that wasn't the original conception, I think, right? Was more of like consumer facing, right? Focused.
He's always...
like products. And now it seems like he's doing a lot more.
Now
like
he's like,
high
I want to
fashion
do
stuff.
like...
Well, I think now
Right?
it's.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
now
yeah.
it's more. I want to make high fashion for the consumer, because I just went on his website today just to see what was there, and it's actually closed down now. They're not taking any more orders.
Got
But there
you.
was a point in time where everything on his website actually for a
was
long
like
time.
50% off
Yeah.
or something.
No, not 50%. Everything was $20.
That's genius, man. Did you get anything?
I didn't get it.
I know a buddy of mine got the sock
The
or whatever,
pods.
whatever that is.
Yeah, the pods.
He says he hasn't gotten them yet. He ordered them so long ago. So
They may never arrive.
he may never get them.
Well,
but for,
and here's the thing:
$20.
his orders come like super slow, but they do come.
Okay. I remember that was the thing with the Life of Pablo merch.
Yeah,
People were buying it and like they were getting it like 6 months later. So
Very good. Moving on, Ellen DeGeneres is retiring. Also, apparently, she's out of the scene.
what though?
The show already ended
been over.
Well,
a
so
while ago.
she has been on tour. She's been doing stand-up comedy. She filmed a special, I believe, I want to say with Netflix. And she is claiming that this is her final hour.
Hoorah. Yeah.
Her
so
final
she's retiring
hurrah.
from stand up.
She phrased it as some kind of special way, maybe from the entertainment business industry. She's basically tapping out of the public eye, right? Okay. She's stepping away. I don't believe I've ever seen stand up by Ellen DeGeneres.
Not one.
I didn't realize that she even did.
I didn't. I thought she just was like a comedic writer, comedic actor.
That's what I thought. Does she have a stand up?
Yes, she does. And it's through HBO. And it was actually like a smash hit. That's what
was the
Ellen's
year?
funny.
It's
Ellen's very funny.
Like early 2000s. And it led to her, like that's what led to the Ellen show.
That wasn't early 2000s. The Ellen show was out in like the 90s. I remember that being a big deal when I was a kid because she's one of the first LGBTQ plus people on TV. Like she came out on TV and on the show.
Ellen DeGeneres Here and Now was the HBO special in 2003.
2003.
That's the HBO thing.
20 years ago.
Yeah. And
damn. Let's go.
But yeah, Ellen's been like she ended the show, right? And then God,
on a bit of a sour note.
Right. God bless the dead. The DJ unfortunately is no longer with us. Self-transitioned.
Her DJ?
Yeah, like
Twitch.
DJ Twitch, yeah. Self-transitioned.
Interesting.
Was it after the show or was the show still airing?
The show was still.
Yeah, the show
I
was
think
still
it was
on.
in his last season and he self-transitioned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so but around that time also she was dealing with a lot of kind of like controversy from former staff saying how mean she was and disrespectful to the staff.
Yeah, apparently she's a bit of a grind.
She's a bit of a hard ass. So
that's right.
That's crazy to hear from someone that's I think Ellen's funny.
Yeah.
Also,
her show launched in 2003 as well.
Her show that like Ellen or the show or the talk
Ellen,
show.
Big year for her, dude.
The talk show.
I'm not talking about the talk show. I'm talking about the
TV show,
the sitcom. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow, that show launched. Well, I guess because she went off the air and then right into the. That was so crazy for me as a kid because I'm like.
It's a crazy couple of years, for being honest. Never forget.
Never forget.
Yo.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
America.
Moment of silence.
Yeah. Where were you?
Now look over here.
Where was I?
Yeah.
We're talking for 9/11?
Yeah.
I was in middle school.
You remember it? Like what happened that day? Like
loosely, yeah. Two planes flew into the Twin Towers.
I know, like no, my God.
What are you asking, dude?
Like what your day was like? You remember like what you were doing, like when it happened, like.
Yeah. Young, so I don't know the exact class that I was in, but I do recall that we were all brought together, or they turned on the TVs or whatever, and we watched a lot of it unfolding on TV in the classrooms. Mm-hmm. And obviously, in that moment, I did not. Like, I wasn't clocking the significance of the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a kid, and so you just don't...
I had no clue what was going on.
You're not quite gathering all of it. And then, obviously, the teachers were very upset.
Yes.
And that's
a sign of, like, this is not cool.
Yeah, so's chaos amongst the student body. So, we... eventually, shortly thereafter, I guess we're queued up to go home, because I think they thought, they were
we were close.
They were going to start peppering
the
schools.
Yeah, because that's all I remember from 9/11. I was 4 at the time.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And
yeah, that's right.
All I remember was going home early from pre-K.
Yeah, I was.
That's all I remember from the day.
Was that my junior year, sophomore year?
It would have been junior.
My junior year, yeah, and I was actually skipping. I was skipping class.
Damn, look at you. What a rebel.
Yeah, man, I was smoking. I was skipping class to, smoke some cigs. Ooh. Back in the day.
Some man about
town. It was 2003. I mean, no, it was 2001.
2001, never forget.
I was a degenerate. And I had no clue what was going on, and it was just all this hysteria.
Yeah.
And I finally kind of get to class because I'm like, well, what's happening? And I remember this specifically. This dude ran out of class and he was like, "We're all gonna die." And he ran. And I was like, "What is going on?" And then my teacher yelled at me like, "Where you been?" Because I guess he was kind of like, with this.
You did it.
Like,
where you been?
You, yeah, and he's like, "We're going on lockdown," and all the teachers had to like lock because my high school was kind of shaped like a college campus. You had to walk from building to building and go to class, and it was all outside, like the whole campus. So they had to lock all the doors to each building.
Sure.
And the like smaller buildings, because, you know, you go in the classroom and you come right out to the sidewalk. So everything was on lockdown.
It's a good thing they locked the doors because planes out here can't get through those.
And they couldn't let any of us leave.
Boeing should have locked the doors, I'll tell you that.
They just did something.
Well, they're doing something all the time.
They didn't off anybody.
This time.
Not this time.
But yeah, man, I remember that was crazy. But
It was a wild time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we kicked off those wars and it just really spiraled.
That was a dark time.
Did you like really like rewind the clock now that you're an adult and kind of consider all the things that unfolded like in that moment and that
Are we
time
adults,
span?
though?
It was pretty absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, in contrast to who I was at the time, I don't ever remember, like I remember Bush being on TV being like, we're going to go, do this. Now watch this.
We're going to go do the thing.
Yeah. And I remember all that and
Osama.
being like, man, wild, like crazy. But you don't really appreciate the scope of like a 20-year war. And
now we need to get to the airport 5 hours early.
oh, 1,000%.
Like
the whole TSA thing.
like
The whole TSA thing.
a whole government agency was made because of it.
Yep.
The whole world really, if you even think pre 9/11, which I mean,
Pretty
I
loose.
was young, but
It's pretty loose.
that was such and I'm sure a lot of people would say the same thing about various times in history, but it was such like a innocent time.
It was very loose. I used to I started flying at a very young age because my aunt has had a whole career with US Air, and then she went after 9/11, she went to work for TSA.
Sure.
So since I can remember, I've been traveling alone on airplanes. It was like 4 or 5. I was on a company minor, fly to her because she lived in Detroit, and then back to Maryland or Virginia, whoever's going to get me from wherever, right? Mm-hmm. And it was very loose. Like you walk right to the gate.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah. They used to bring them kids right up into the cockpit, maybe.
Yo, I have pictures. I'm
If
in
you
there.
were flying solo, they'd bring you right in, take your sticks.
Do your thing. Press a button. Blah,
Yeah,
blah.
that's right. Bring it back, it's all good.
Nah, not now. Who's this kid?
Why not?
I think
this
That's
kid out.
back when they built planes, the right
To
way.
last.
Right.
To last.
Yeah,
They didn't use acrylic.
All
They
the
used
plugs
steel.
filled.
exactly, dude.
I mean, that one that hit the Pentagon, that still exists somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
I read on the internet.
Rumor has it they're still flying.
Uh-huh.
I mean, has anyone
on a
ever
VPN.
seen a photo of it?
Great question.
We don't know.
I certainly
That is a
haven't.
great
I'm
question.
not sure. Did everybody in this room have a moment where they kind of bought into some of the 9/11 conspiracy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Because there was that moment. What was the movie, the documentary that came out? Something Changed, Loose Change.
Mm-hmm.
Was that what it was
That's what it was
called?
called.
A couple of guys made a documentary basically trying to disprove the whole 9/11 thing. But did you ever have a moment in your life where you were like, man, I really don't believe this happened?
what do I say all the time? I'm not a conspiracy theorist,
But are you going to entertain it?
but I will entertain a
Sure.
good conspiracy
Sure.
until I
it's
see that it's BS,
It's
right?
fully rife of conspiracies, yeah.
Right? I'll even be entertained actually entertained by this and even give it a thought that, damn,
Could happen.
that could be true, right?
Could happen.
And then somehow the story goes off the rails, and I'm like, all right, yep, you had me. This is not true. But there was a lot of 9/11 stuff still to this day that I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if jet fuel can burn.
It's very curious. Some of it was curious,
I don't
dude.
know.
I remember being a kid and
I'm not a scientist.
dude, I remember lime wiring that documentary and as a child, on your Sony Vaio, just being like,
Has anyone else seen this?
is it just me? Does anyone else know the truth?
I think that's so-
not to make light of it, and God bless the dead, and but
Yeah, God bless the dead.
at the same time,
Load up that freedom funnel.
Yes.
one more time for 9/11 in America. But a lot of that
Pour one out for my homies.
sometimes you look back at some of the stuff and the tapes, or you hear a conspiracy theorist, or you see a thread on, and you oh, I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
It seems odd.
It seems odd that you're gonna get a blast from the other side of the building.
See, like,
you know,
it's so weird to. Well, it's not weird, but it's like it's a thing where for you guys, it's like it's something to think about. Mm-hmm. But because like people my age, I was 4 when it happened.
Yeah.
So I grew up.
You grew up in the chaos.
I grew up in the chaos.
this is your history. Like this is your
Islamic
history.
terrorism.
You don't
is,
know what it's like before
weapons
that.
of mass destruction.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
I forgot all about that.
Like
WMD.
Even though now I
forgot
know,
all about
like
that.
WMDs is a whole conspiracy.
What? They real?
No, there were no weapons of mass
They
destruction.
never found any weapons of mass
that is
destruction.
true. Correct.
Not
yes.
in Iraq.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. I thought
That was the
remember,
whole thing.
That's the whole reason we
saying,
went
like,
to Iraq
they're not
for
real.
weapons of
Yeah.
mass destruction.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about over there.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
They don't got that money. They ain't got enough money for that.
It was a very. I mean, I was too young, and I don't know the politics of it all. But it was. I guess they had to have some reason to go into Iraq other than we're trying to track down the boy.
Sure.
So they came up with the weapons of mass destruction thing, and he wasn't even there.
And somehow Bush kind of spun it as like, this is part of this.
Yeah.
You know, like when in reality it had nothing to do with it at all.
No, correct.
Well,
Do you
Same.
guys remember?
Well, for Bush, it was a guaranteed re-election, is what it was.
Oh, of course.
That's true.
Right. But do you guys remember Iron Man 3?
Of course,
Specifically?
I watched it every week.
So as I watched it, I didn't realize that it was a parody of the American government. Right?
Says
The villain in it.
says you or says like a writer or did somebody come out and confirm this?
It's a loose.
You feel
Okay,
like
continue.
okay,
It's a loose. It's a
fan
loose.
theory.
Loose
I'm with you.
fan theory.
Fan
right?
fiction.
I'm
The
with you.
villain in it is supposed to be the head of a criminal organization that's over in
Yep.
the Middle East, which he actually comes out to be
An actor.
an actor.
Yes.
Which is supposed to be a parody of the entire Middle East situation with Osama bin Laden, where he wasn't actually real. They doctored him up to be the villain in this 9/11 conspiracy.
Sure.
Right? Like this is a whole like off the wall tin hat. Like,
Okay, I was about to say,
right.
I was about to go grab the foil.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Right.
I'm pretty sure Bin
But-
Laden was a bit of a terrorist,
I do believe he was
I think he was-
very much.
at least loosely associated with 9/11.
I think he was very much, as far as I know and the facts I have, he was responsible. I'm not in any type of military or government affiliate that can
Even though you are.
discuss or that can denounce that it was or it wasn't. I'm going on record.
Doing
I
a
have-
lot of denying right now.
Yeah. It seems like you're really decreasing liability here.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Very much so. Very much so.
Don't let the Q&A.
So you're saying if we go back and revisit Iron Man 3, we're
Yeah.
going to draw a lot of similarities between that
Just in the
and
situation.
that conflict.
Yeah,
if
the
you will.
conflict there. Yeah.
Very good. Remember the beheadings?
Oh my gosh.
That was
bro.
a crazy time. We really glossed over that, or I think
Yes.
maybe phased some of that out of our recollection.
They were.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they were
Six-
dropping those online, like left and right? That was like the original viral video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great call. You're right.
Dude, really
me.
like a traumatizing moment, I feel like.
Indulge me.
Just generally speaking.
They were.
Dude, they just started lopping like people's heads off. Like they would capture Americans.
American
Oh,
journalists.
and then they would just
whatever.
cut their heads
Yeah.
off like in live streaming.
Right.
Yes, I do
And then
remember that.
like it was getting passed around on the internet.
And there
like,
was a lot
everybody
of
had
like,
to see it.
do you have anything to say? And then
Because so from those, then you got the because then we got the whole Gitmo crisis with those not the Gitmo crisis,
Club Gitmo.
the
Oh,
the
Abu Ghraib.
soldiers, yeah,
Yep.
who started finding these guys, and then they were just
The whole situation spiraled into just chaos. And then, like, okay, all right, 9/11 happens. We get to the war. Bush comes back. DMV. I'm just thinking in the Baltimore DMV area, and then we get what's his name? The sniper. Get the DC sniper.
that was before that.
That wasn't before that. What year was DC sniper?
DC sniper
That was like 98, 99.
pre
Was it?
9/11.
That was.
Pre 9/11.
That was pre 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'cause
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
was
2000. No, 2002.
That's what I
February 2002 through September 2002.
I was gonna say I was
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
middle school for it, so it had to be like right around the same time.
Malvo was 2002?
And you just think like we went through a whole.
And then you guys got anthrax.
Like we got all of this, bro.
They didn't send
the
me
mailing the
anthrax,
anthrax, right? Mm-hmm.
All this before the time I'm 25. We got all
honestly,
of this craziness.
since 9/11, never forget, it's been pretty stressful. Just in general.
Housing crisis,
Oh, wait.
I mean,
anthrax,
Subprime mortgages.
interest rates,
mass shootings.
just uptick because they.
I mean, that stuff really popped off. I know that Columbine was pre 9/11, but
That's the
Sandy
OG
Hook
one.
shut it off.
Yeah,
man, people really got a taste for it.
Was that 99?
99.
April 99.
Maybe
Columbine.
that's what started it all.
You know what I
What was
think?
the
really-
Oklahoma City bombing?
was that 97?
So that was that
was
was
well before,
That was well
95,
before.
yeah.
Yeah.
that was
And then you got
bonkers,
and
bro.
Then and then if we're just going to keep taking it back,
That was
the
in
first
response to
World Trade Center
Waco.
bombing.
That was a Waco thing.
yeah,
That,
Yeah, no.
that was crazy. See, like you look at that building, like half that building's gone from one guy with C4
Yeah.
strapped on.
a couple boys. They had
It was a couple boys.
A couple boys. They put it in a van. It wasn't C4. It was a very large.
Okay,
Very, very large.
all right. So I don't have all the facts.
Explosives.
Going on record, I don't have all the facts.
Yeah, they had it in a box truck.
Crazy.
What was
Speaking
the
of box
was
truck,
it a
you remember that?
It was a Ryder box truck, I believe, a yellow and red, black.
Yep.
Didn't they go out of
Was a
business?
Ryder.
Sorry,
Like Ryder,
still around.
Is Ryder still around?
They're still around.
yeah, I don't know.
Filling around here.
I'm
Where-
just, they took one of those and they really souped it up over the course of a couple of days. Anyway,
Crazy.
neither here nor there.
But all that to say is that America took a wild turn.
It's been a wild couple of years. You guys want to take what's next though?
I mean, we just survived the pandemic. So
Yeah, but that's like the last big thing. I'm thinking. I mean, we think of World War III.
I don't think we'll ever get a war in the capacity that we think. I talk
There
about
won't be another World War I,
Yeah.
II type thing. You know,
yeah.
that
I mean,
mass.
unless it breaks out on
It's a
American
lot of
soil.
confidence, though.
Well, nothing's happening here.
I won't say that.
I won't.
I will
say
not
that.
say that.
Only
I
thing-
will say if something happens here, it'll be a
It's-
civil
But
war.
also,
If
it doesn't
it
need to
happens
happen
here-
here.
Nah.
It's going to be internal.
It doesn't need
Oh
to
yeah,
happen
yeah.
here.
States will kind of beef with one another, and we'll get successions and
Not states,
on and,
people.
you know.
I mean,
Citizens
all
will
that.
do.
Yeah, but all that. Russia just has to start bombing our allies.
and then
Yes.
we get involved.
Sure.
and
Nothing
then,
has to technically happen here, although they definitely can get to us if they want to.
Yeah. The only reason the war in Ukraine is not World War III is because it's contained within
two
the
countries.
confines of the Ukraine.
Sure,
Yeah.
correct.
That's the only reason it's not World War
But
III.
if somebody pops off,
Poland,
like
Poland is
China-
looking out their blinds like every day.
China,
like,
North Korea,
don't step
Russia.
on my grass. Don't step on my grass. Get off my
you
grass.
touch one blade of this grass,
Don't come over
this
here.
whole thing
We
goes
chilling
boom.
over here. We got our spring water.
It feels like we're at a.
It's time for the
It
next
feels
thing.
like it's a very dicey time from a World War perspective.
Yep.
That's just my sense on it.
Yeah.
I think the concept of like a World War III is in my opinion more realistic than not realistic at this stage in the game.
yeah.
But the pandemic was out of left field. I don't know if there's anything that would be like that creative.
I
Well,
mean,
I'll say
if I
I
were,
wasn't expecting it. I mean, the financial stuff kind of compounded. I feel like you had the crash in 09 and like you had like wasn't the housing thing kind of after that,
Yeah.
2 years after that.
Yeah.
Like you had a lot of things that kind of stacked on each other that were financial related. And I think
How many times did the stock market
they got
crash
kind of
since
tired
2000?
of that, right?
Yeah.
So the pandemic, they had to bust that out.
They had to pull that card.
They had to pull that card.
Play that-
But nobody was expecting that. We
Play
were
that draw
all
forward.
asleep at the wheel. We weren't ready for that.
Nah.
I don't know.
We survived it though.
I feel like the wars that we're in right now could be a little bit of like a primer. You know
They
what I mean?
cannot get rid of America, bro. We survive everything.
Well, yeah.
We survive everything.
Listen, never forget, dude.
Never
I
forget.
appreciate it. It's an episode of
Never
patriotism.
never
right?
forgetting.
Yeah. I mean, we're not gonna theorize a situation or a scenario where America is no longer here. Not after taking
I don't think it
shots
can
out of the
ever-
freedom funnel.
No.
No.
Can't have it.
absolutely
Not on this episode. The next episode, maybe.
God bless you,
Transitioning to something a little bit more fun.
Real quick before you do.
Carry
Oh,
on.
okay. Let's go.
No. Let's stay in the depth.
Let's
Before
stay
you
in,
do.
let's stay in the misery.
You mentioned Club Gitmo. earlier.
Yeah.
As of last month,
Yeah.
at least 780 people from 48 countries have been detained at the camp.
Oh.
740 have been transferred elsewhere.
Okay.
9 have died in custody.
All right.
30 remain.
Oh.
As of May. Mm-hmm. Only 16 of those 740 have ever been charged with a criminal offense.
That's right. America. Pass me the funnel.
Guantanamo?
Pass
Get
me the
me.
funnel.
Crazy.
All right. My money's on World War III.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so all right.
Just to
we're
put a
gonna
bow
go around
on
the room.
it.
We're going
Put
around
a
the
bow
room.
on it.
What? All right, you take
You
it.
can go. I'm going major conflict amongst.
Major
I'm going
conflict.
escalating conflict.
Okay. What you?
World War III in
taking
between
conflict.
the Indo-European, the Eurasian subcontinent.
Conflict.
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
you going
Yeah.
conflict.
Conflict.
Yeah.
Josh, what you got?
Financial conflict. Pandy.
I do really feel like what you said is probably good about
Yeah.
some sort of internal strife occurring here.
So you're thinking Civil War?
Potentially. Yeah.
Really?
I'm
Interesting.
There's a lot of really very, very strong opinions
Yeah.
right now. And we saw it, in January of 21.
I mean, Civil War would be a little bit of a flip on the script because it would be like conflict and war, but on the home base.
It's like
I think if Civil War happens, even though the masses the people would come from bottom up, but the directives would have to come top down. So we would have to be in a state where
you see, like, all right,
But
I
wait.
see exactly where you're going, right? You see things like Roe v. Wade being snatched back, right? Now states are slowly becoming in charge of their own civil rights, which then happens to us. I'm going to snowball this. This fast forwards to states being independent regions. Now it becomes, okay, you're part of the United States, but if you got to travel, you live here, you want to travel to Texas, that's on you. Like, you go to Texas, you're on your own. We can't extradite you. We can't help you. Texas
It's kind
is
of like a Handmaid's Tale kind of thing.
it's that type of.
So that really depends on how Christian conservatives actually are, because Handmaid's Tale is heavily based on the theophany, which is a religious run country.
Yeah, state. Yep.
Now, what I think is more likely is that we get someone like President Trump, we'll say, because he's the next person to...
Okay, you gotta say 45.
Yeah, 45, right?
I say 45.
Oh, damn.
Say he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to leave. And that's
He goes back.
That's the dog whistle for the...
He tested the waters with
yeah,
1-6.
but he
wanted to see
it
if he
would
could do it.
require so many layers or so many levels of government to kind of fall
Take
in
over.
line,
To
or
lay
to
down.
lay down or to join up.
Well,
Right.
in this instance, laying down is joining up. Because if you don't stop them from coming...
Then you join. You're. If you don't stop it, you're
It's like
allowing
it's
it.
like what happened with when Hitler invaded Poland. The U.S. and
heavy
the rest
word
of
to
Europe
say.
had this policy of appeasement.
Sure.
He said
They
the
would
H
just
word.
let him do what he had to do and hope that he would just quell.
But in your theory, Trump goes, "I'm not leaving,"
yeah, definitely.
and that everybody around
It's like
is
cool,
says fine.
fine.
I feel like I get what you're saying, and I can definitely see somebody like Trump coming into power and saying, "I'm not leaving." I can see that happening. It's very hard for me to imagine that enough of the it seems like there are so many stopgaps though in between that being said and it being successful. Like there would be somebody somewhere that would be like, this, we're not. Like there has to be a plan for that.
but
Dude,
my
at
thing-
some
some level, yeah.
FBI, CIA, somebody's gonna come in.
Somebody's got to blow the
Well,
whistle. and be
somebody's
like,
gonna
yo,
come in and
you're
just
tripping over
assassinate him
here.
at that
If we're
point.
rolling with
Jeez,
this, here's
you
my
said the
problem.
A
with
word?
that. We already know private
dropping a
industry.
lot of
That might have been
words.
aggressive. I'm sorry.
We already know we already know the airplane
I would
companies.
say it's hypothetical though, right?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like there's got to be a backup plan where like somebody at the CIA is like, listen,
All
if, any-
right, these people are getting out of hand. Like,
if
right,
anybody
yeah.
gets weird in the presidential seat, we're running things. So if one of them
Right,
pipes
yeah.
up, someone's gonna go in there at
Listen,
night
man,
and just
listen.
figure it out.
Absolutely.
I would hope that
I would
the
hope so.
CIA, I would hope that the same thing that happened with, I would hope that the CIA would have a Lee Harvey Oswald on standby.
Guys, this is really this is
wow.
This
the
episode.
conspiracy corner is just boiling over right now.
Have one on standby for these specific cases,
Yeah.
these specific use cases. Now the problem with that
Definitely
is
losing my job.
now you have to quell the okay, we know they killed him, and the uprising for the people who know they killed him.
Sure.
Sheesh.
It's
Yeah, but
Did anybody see
But
Inside Out 2?
I still feel like regardless of what side you're on, like I feel like the majority is going to side with like democracy, 2 terms, like all that kind
We
of
will
stuff.
hope so. We saw it. We saw it
100%, 100%.
4 years ago. We saw it win.
Sure,
So,
but again, even sure, 100%. But that in context of the entire country, if a civil war broke out in that moment, like it was what, a couple of thousand people versus the rest of the country.
understood.
It's not enough. That is not in and of itself enough to win a civil war to the point where all of a sudden somebody is just taking over
It
the
definitely
country.
is because the
Lest
Blues
we
ain't got no
remember,
guns.
We had a guy sneak into a theater and kill the sitting American president.
Yeah, that was a while
Bro,
ago.
that was so
While
long ago.
yeah.
I mean, they
But
didn't.
it
They couldn't
happened.
wiretap him back then. To be honest, you know?
They couldn't ping his iPhone. They didn't know what he was up to. What are they gonna
It's
do?
just-
They're gonna tap his rotary dial.
It's very hard for me to
phone with
imagine
the cup
that
that he's speaking into.
it gets to that point. The Civil War piece is interesting. It's,
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But if
It's
it does,
interesting.
I didn't think I'd be locked in my house for 2 years.
It's interesting.
I think we're going to World
right.
War III.
Because
is
somebody
really what I
coughed on
think.
me,
If
I was
I'm
gonna
gonna
turn
be
into a
honest.
He's
zombie.
Civil War. You're
I'm
World War
World War
III. I'm World War III. I think Civil War is a little hard to get to still. I get what you're saying. I think internal
I
conflict
didn't
is,
necessarily say war, but
we're talking about the next mass.
The next mass
but
thing.
my thing is
Global event.
kind of along the lines of post 9/11. All these little bits that kind of just got crazy, and you're like, I would
Sure.
have never called that. I would have never called that. My thinking is, at some point, this internal strife is going to result in flare up here, flare up there.
Yeah.
Just more and more of
Yeah,
these,
yeah, yeah.
like,
But I will say this: nothing outside of the Vietnam War unites America like war.
Oh nah. I don't think that
Nothing unites us like war.
yeah, unless the war is here.
But
I don't know, dude. The 80s and 90s were pretty wild.
Yo.
The financial boom and the stock market and the tech economy and all of that. People were pretty stoked on
I'll
that.
say
Their mullets.
this:
And
World
also
War II.
mullets.
It was it was a lot of drugs and just tons of
Cocaine, mullets.
cash. People
World
were
War-
going nuts.
World War
back
II
then.
sparked integration.
Sure.
That too.
Nothing unites America like war.
Nah, there's so many movies.
It
Yeah.
definitely fuels the economy in a significant way, depending on the size and scale of it. But I don't think, again, I feel like a third world war is going to be very different in the sense that it's not going to impact the economy like it normally does.
But
Because it's going to be fought with drones. It's going to be drones and whoever's
Yeah,
got bigger,
I don't think a world war.
Bombs.
PlayStation controller.
more or less, right? Like World War II was half, so many
It'll be-
so many people were involved in it.
Shut all your lights off.
It was
so
such
that-
a that'll never happen again.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think at this stage it's too efficient, right?
Yeah.
The war machine is way too
Sure.
efficient. It's expensive, but it's way too efficient.
fair.
I'm going
war
with-
machine is a proven profit booster.
I don't think
Economic booster.
I don't think it's gonna be like something violent. I think it's gonna be something that
We're all going to be nice to each other.
uncovers something that we're not ready for as a people to accept.
Aliens.
Aliens, a celebrity comes back that we thought died in the 70s and he's just like, I'm alive, or something along that lines. Like Elvis has been chilling, or
In Cuba.
Tupac.
So you're taking
you know
like
what
a
I'm saying?
you're
Like,
taking
Tupac comes back from
I'm
Cuba.
taking like they're gonna take the curtains back on something crazy, and we just gotta accept it. Like, no, this is not real.
I'm gonna say
And
like
oh,
you're going sci-fi.
yeah,
Sci-fi.
something
component.
crazy that we have not experienced ever. Like
Civil War.
Obama really wasn't American.
Civil War, for a lack
There
of a
it
better
is.
some type of crazy conspiracy that comes out to be true.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
World War III. World War III.
Yeah, sci-fi.
Okay.
Sci-fi conspiracy.
Speaking of Shrek, 5.
I'm ready for
They
it.
announced it.
That was a smooth transition.
That's right.
Let's go, Eddie Murphy.
2026, guys. They've announced it. It's the 25th anniversary of Shrek.
Seriously?
We're getting back into it. Yeah.
Wow.
It's 100% serious.
I'm finding that celebrities, when they get old, they kind of hold on to like what's
the glory days.
gonna make them money, right? Like, I'm not gonna go out here and try and do something new. Like Mike Myers, I'm not making any new projects. Shrek is $1 billion franchise. I'm just gonna come back with another one.
Sure.
I'm gonna get the gang. I'm gonna
Yep.
call Eddie.
Get them all back on.
We
Back on
go,
board.
Cameron. We going back. I'm gonna get y'all $50 million a piece. Boom, 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 and we good. We out.
Yeah, some might say, though, that the money is not really in animation anymore. Everybody from Inside Out 2 seemed to have failed to return due to their strict contracts and lack of funding. Although it was incredibly successful.
So who did return? So did what's her name from The Office? That was Sadness.
She bailed,
Damn,
and what's his face?
that sucks. Because
Barry from Barry.
he bailed.
He was in the original and did not
He
come
was?
back. Yes, he was in the original
This
and
is
did
Bill
not.
Hader.
Bill
Bill
Hader. There you
was
go.
my guy.
Bill Hader did not come back for the sequel. Neither did Mindy Kaling.
Kaling.
Yeah, because
She
they
was
were
in it?
not. Yeah, they were not offered enough for the sequel.
After they saw how big, eventually the original became. Because
I
it
don't
was
know.
a sleeper.
This was bigger than the original.
But Josh,
This is
or
actually, I think,
Isaiah,
the biggest.
Can you pull the gross for
Pixar film.
Inside Out 1?
Yeah, number 2.
It's over $1 billion. It's like
Number
1
2
point
is
something.
at 1.251 billion right now.
2.15? Oh.
2. Sorry, 1251.
1.251. 1.25.
Yeah, 858 million for the first one.
They
So, yeah,
definitely
it's
were
already-
run the sequel.
Is it not the biggest Pixar movie so far?
By
Dollars.
revenue,
Yeah.
maybe.
In
gotta-
theaters.
it's gotta be
Theatrical.
up.
No.
What
I
you
think
taking as the most grossing Pixar right now?
Toy Story.
Yeah.
Overall,
Overall.
franchise, Toy Story.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I'm having trouble with this. There's no Wikipedia article for this.
I feel like I saw an article earlier that was just saying it's either like the biggest opening
Got it.
or the biggest box office like for a single film or something like
I've
that.
never ever in my
Inside
life
Out
heard
2.
Josh.
The largest opening weekend was The Incredibles 2
Yes.
in 2018.
So I read earlier that this has beat that now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's 1.25. Incredibles 1.24.
There you go. There it is. That was the article that I had read or the headline
Yeah.
that I had seen.
Inside Out 2.
So now they got to re-up with Incredibles 3. They have to.
No, I don't. I mean,
Inside Out.
it's a game.
According to ABC News, Inside Out 2 becomes the highest grossing film of all time for Pixar
Worldwide.
worldwide.
There you
box
go.
office,
Yeah.
yeah.
The domestic is still Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
We about to get Incredibles 3. They gonna do it.
maybe.
I hope
Could be.
so.
Shit. Give me Toy
They've
Story
been
5.
struggling with their original IP, so they kind of have to go back and rehash.
Because Buzz Lightyear stank. I mean, like it was good for adults, but like for kids, they didn't get it. Like Clark was just like, this is not.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
You didn't watch Buzz Lightyear? It was
Me either.
So
I
if,
wanted these things to do well, and
Yeah.
when they didn't, it's tough because like there's a lot out there that does well, and I'm focusing my time on that. Like I'll see Inside Out too. I don't know if I'm going to make it in theaters or not. Emily's been trying to go, but she.
I think you'll enjoy it.
it was good. You saw one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw one in theaters.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, neither here nor there. But
You watch Beverly Hills Cop 4? Was it Axel F or Beverly
no,
Hills Cop? Or?
no, I did not. Where is it streaming on something?
It's on Netflix.
On Netflix, huh? No.
Yeah,
Is it worth a watch?
Shout out to my boy Jabari, one of my good New York friends. He worked on it. He works for Netflix right now and gave me, let me know it was coming down the pipeline. And I actually have watched half of it at this point. And
The way that you consume things, very odd to me.
pieces.
You're I can't do it.
Piecemeal.
It's odd.
Me either.
Piecemeal.
But you've enjoyed the first half, I guess. I
No,
don't know.
it's
You
fucking-
want to review half a movie for us?
This half that I saw is terrible. It's like eating the first half of a sandwich. First of all, the Beverly Hills Cop franchise It's not good. I'm gonna stand on that.
But
If you watch it,
we made another.
because it was the franchise that really launched Eddie Murphy into Hollywood.
Yeah,
that like that and another.
I mean, is he paying for him? I mean, why is it coming back? You said it wasn't very good.
I don't know the inner workings.
So I've never seen a Beverly Hills Cop at all.
They're not
all look
that
stupid.
great.
They
Hot
all
take.
look like
Early
not
90s.
worth my
I think
time.
I've seen the first bits of the first one.
Beverly Hills Cop 3 was like the peak of them.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like more like that's when everyone was like, "Oh, Eddie Murphy is like he's got like his own like super franchise," and it was like he got a third one. Like he got the second one, and people were like, "Oh, okay, cool." And he got a third one. They were like, "Oh, they're really putting the money behind him."
Okay.
So 3 had
true.
all the money, but it was like not a good movie because
Gotcha.
it took place in an amusement park. So
Classic.
so now he's back, and you just associate Beverly Hills Cop is.
How's he look?
I was watching the movie in comparison because he's very young. This is like a 20-year gap.
Yeah.
And he's still trying to be like young, hip Eddie Murphy. He looks great. I appreciate that he's aged so gracefully. He looks great. Still got his hair.
Sure.
Skin looks amazing. But he's heavy.
Big boy.
He a big boy now.
Thicked out.
And he's still trying to wear the same aesthetic. It's not working.
Didn't age well.
You got a granddad bod
Got you.
now. And
Gotta loosen the fit.
they should have kind of went with a different dynamic than him being a street cop. He should have been like a higher up.
The first movie was 40 years ago.
Right.
He's 23 and now he's 63.
Exactly.
My God.
40-year franchise.
That's nuts.
Crazy.
That's
You're
crazy.
still a street cop?
He's still a street cop.
What are you doing?
Right.
It's
a grind.
He should be a chief at this point,
like, get off
right?
the
Like,
beat.
like he's still on the streets doing stuff. And it's kind of like, I don't believe that. After watching this movie, I'm like, I don't believe that.
Did you see the Gladiator 2 trailer?
I did.
Speaking of large gaps in between things.
And I hate
You're not about to do what I think you're about to do.
I don't
What are you
want
gonna
to.
do?
I don't like cash grabs,
Tell the people.
but I did see the trailer. It looks okay. Looks okay.
It does.
It's got a bad name.
It's not a bad Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, should have been Gladiator something.
It should have. Yeah. It shouldn't even been called Gladiator.
Gladiator comes back, or
It should have
Gladiator: The Next
It should have been
Generation.
called like Fall of an Empire. Or
They
something.
really-
something else, but Gladiator
I know.
2.
They definitely. Obviously, the name is the cash grab.
Gladiator.
Like the name, because they want people, because people are too stupid to like know that like something is associated to something else if it's not like direct, if it's not just one or two.
Gladiator: Return to the Coliseum.
Yeah, even that.
Something,
they
like
wouldn't
something,
know.
Like
They
right?
wouldn't know.
Like Rise of the Usurper.
There you
something
go.
Like,
Like,
like
let's
You
get
gotta-
creative. Nah,
100%.
Gladiator 2.
But I think for the masses, if they don't put 2 on there,
Dose.
people are going to go, I didn't
One,
realize
one.
there was a first one. So
Right.
if you put a 2 on there, you can't make that excuse. It's in the
that's
name.
true because I'm
Yeah.
sure there are people of my generation who don't know about Gladiator.
Correct. Yeah.
You know about
Yeah,
Gladiator.
yeah,
yeah.
Gladiator
of
is
course.
probably one of
Yeah,
my
no.
top 10 movies ever.
Yeah,
It's a pretty wild film when it came out. Man.
Crazy movie.
Yeah, we weren't
Russell
ready
Crowe.
for it, dude.
Yeah.
We weren't ready for it.
Gladiator is the reason why Spartacus is one of my top 5 series.
Yeah. There
It
you
was
go.
a real like primer for like the Game of Thrones thing. You know what I mean? Like you had
Yeah.
people dying left and right, and it just
Cooked.
you were it was
Literally
brutal,
cooked his
brutal out of the
family,
gate,
yeah.
and you just
Yep.
weren't ready for it. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, yeah.
it was, man, what
Love
a time.
Gladiator.
But yeah, I thought the trailer looked pretty good.
Yeah, it did.
It's okay.
Yeah, we'll see what's up.
Denzel got a lot of shine. He's looking good, looking handsome.
Dude, he
looking-
caught me off guard.
Right? I was
Yeah,
not. I was like,
yeah.
I didn't know he was in this.
Yeah, it felt weird every time I saw him.
What is he doing?
I don't know, and I don't
He's
mean
Who is he?
He seems to be the usurper, which is why I would have named it, even if he doesn't succeed.
Sure.
Gladiator.
Yeah.
Gladiator, usurper.
Is it at all? Is this at all? I mean, I know loosely based on history, right? But like, is his character in any way, shape, or form tied to a real person?
Okay, so
You know what I'm
was
saying?
Gladiator 1, and please, I don't know, Josh, and I'm just taking a shot in the dark here, but wasn't Gladiator 1 the Joaquin Phoenix based off of Caesar,
I don't know. Could be.
right?
I know that events that take place in the movies
is based on
on real events, but I don't know whether the characters are at all real characters.
Well, Joaquin Phoenix's character Commodus actually was Marcus Aurelius' son.
Okay, great.
In history.
There we go.
But does Denzel's character actually exist?
I don't even know who his character is.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I saw he for whatever reason. I don't know.
I don't know, but all the black women in my family are excited that Denzel looks great. And
Worked up.
They're worked up.
Worked up.
Worked up.
Hell yeah.
Go see it.
There you go, dude.
Denzel is he looks good. He looks good. I'm excited for him.
I thought he looked good. I'm not saying he didn't look good. It just caught me off guard. Like I wasn't expecting to see him at
Yeah.
You know what's funny about it? Denzel is, and I know you're probably thinking, oh, it's a black thing. No, it's not that he's black that it caught me off guard.
No, I was not at all.
It's that he's very much Denzel.
Yeah, in it.
Yeah,
He's Denzel.
yeah, he's Denzel.
No.
He's Denzel in Gladiator.
Right. He's Alonzo in Gladiator. Yes, exactly.
That is how black people see it.
It's not like he was.
That is how we
He
see
wasn't.
it.
He didn't transform into something else.
He's not speaking with an accent. He's Denzel in Gladiator.
And
Yes.
he's in now he's in this iconic franchise.
Yes.
There's a few actors who have got to the point where they're just them in movies.
Yeah.
Will Smith, Tom Cruise,
Russell Crowe.
No, Russell's got range at his old age.
But I think I think their range is in their personality.
That's a good
Because
point.
that's Denzel. If you watch him in interviews when he does them, albeit rarely, his range is also in his personality. He's whoever he needs to be in the interview, but also whoever he needs to be on the film.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Will, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Denzel, they've all kind of got to the point where
Eddie.
I'm just gonna show up and I'm gonna read the script, and you're gonna pay me, and you're gonna accept however I do it.
Sure, 100%. But like when you watch the trailer, you can tell that there's a lot of people in this that have like transformed quite a bit.
They're method acting,
and then there's just
Denzel
like
shows
Denzel.
up.
It's like Training Day all of a sudden like hits you, and you're like, oh my god, this is crazy, dude. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody in there they got makeup on and they're doing crazy stuff and they're talking all weird.
That
and then
same
Denzel's got
earring,
that grin.
same earring from Training Day.
Yeah.
He pulled that out of
Got
his
that
closet.
same ass grin, just doing
Awesome.
Denzel, baby.
I love it.
He said, "You know, he said
Y'all can dress me up, but that's
He
it.
said,
That's it.
That's it. Because I'm just
He
coming
said, your
in.
rage is your superpower. You know that, right, Jake?
I'm gonna leave here with something.
Yeah.
He said,
damn
Jake,
it.
your rage is your superpower.
Love it.
House of the Dragon finally went somewhere. Finally did something.
Finally,
in my opinion, we got a little bit of a
some
battle.
chess moves.
It felt significant. I was getting a little sleepy. I said in the last episode, I've been kind of dogging House of the
gotta
Dragon
stop
the last few
leaving
episodes, but
the turns for the last 10, 15 minutes. They gotta stop that.
And they gotta
They
stop leaving people alive.
dude, they're super invested into that. That format of like last 5 minutes, we're gonna shake it up.
I need something to happen.
Give me something out of the gate.
Yeah.
I want to process some of this stuff along with the show.
I need a murder happen ASAP. And now I gotta go through the entire show
Yeah.
dealing with that. And then in the last 5 minutes, give me another one.
Yeah.
So I totally forgot about that. And now I gotta deal with something
yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones used to do that, right? But now
They changed up the rhythm of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But I am glad that we finally got a little bit of a battle sequence. It was short-lived. It was a little misleading in the sense that they kind of staged the battle and it kind of never really happened. And then the dragons kind of really took over and it became kind of this aerial thing, which it was fine. I didn't think that it was any better or worse than what I'd seen in Game of Thrones but it was fine. It was better than what we have seen the last
correct me if I'm wrong.
last 3 episodes.
I don't think I've ever
Sad
seen
moms.
this. And it might have been referenced in Game of Thrones. But the dragon blood is acidic. Like if it touches you. All right, so when they're in the aerial fight.
I don't think it's the fact that it's acidic. I think it's that because they produce fire and everything in them is just naturally kind of warm.
Maybe it's like
that
Okay,
blood
I'll
is
take hot.
boiling.
Could be boiling.
I'll take hot. Yeah.
Could be hot.
So when they're fighting, and Vagar scratches
Melis.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And she's just leaking out, and she flies over the battlefield, and she's just leaking out blood. All of the soldiers just get melted.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't know the logistics
I don't know.
behind
I never
it.
saw that before.
No, I'm not sure about
I
the
thought it was
science.
awesome, but I never saw it before.
It's a cool visual, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's a big backstory.
Super
to
dope.
I
support
heard
it.
that's what the COVID vaccine does to you.
It's true. It's true.
It's not even my real arm, bro. It's prosthetic.
I will say that something that I didn't care for.
What?
If you want me to
What's
throw
that?
a little negativity at the episode.
Let's nitpick.
At some point, and I don't understand why it hasn't been discussed up until, like, nobody's discussed it at any stage in this game. But Vagar, right? Big dragon.
He's big.
He's the biggest
He's a big
dragon.
boy.
So why is nobody talking about that? Like, if I was going into battle and I had a dragon, he was a tiny dragon, and it was like, hey, Vagar.
I mean, we can send a little dragon, but they got the big one.
They got the big one, right? And it, well,
He's a big,
he
like-
could be there, and if he's there, you're gonna die.
So
Well,
I
we should
think-
have a game plan, because obviously, like, you know what I'm saying?
So for me, it's been the thing that the Greens have always discussed. Like, we have Vagar, the biggest dragon.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's always been their trump card. But for me, I think the fact that Vagar is big.
He's a
She's
a
an old-
horse.
I know. I get
she's
that.
an old girl.
Yeah.
Vagar's
it's a
an old
woman.
girl.
I mean, no,
I understand
it's a
that.
female dragon.
But
She's
nobody's-
What are Vagar's
She's an old girl.
pronouns?
Nobody's talking about how to deal with it, though.
Because
If you were like actually planning out that battle
if
sequence,
Vagar comes, what do we do?
correct. Somebody has to be going, well, what if Vagar's there?
Because I think Rhaenys had the right idea.
Because if Vagar's there, we're
She
gonna
didn't.
lose.
She didn't
But
factor
she
in
didn't
if
factor
Vagar
in, like,
comes.
she should have
But
attacked
how is
and
that
ran.
possible? That's insane to me. That's like trying to go to war with Russia and being like, they had nukes this whole time?
Right? They had
Since
WMDs.
Like, somebody has to be mapping it out.
Thinking about what
Like,
the what
sure,
ifs.
let's send some people. Let's send a dragon out. No big deal. Let's try to quash this war. I get it. But what happens if we roll up and Vagar's there? One dragon, one tiny dragon.
It's so wild to me
It's
that
not gonna
no
do
one
it.
has developed a weapon to take down
Well, they
these
did.
dragons.
So the idea is that
These spears,
the
these-
scorpions,
the scorpions.
the super large crossbows.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's the weapon that's supposed to take down the dragons.
So I
Yeah.
need like 5 of those on standby if this dragon shows up. Because they're not fat. They're not
But the
like
idea
fast.
is that they only like the technology is only available in Westeros. So
Yeah.
it's not transferable to everywhere else on the battlefield.
I
Because
get that.
Even when
I get
we
it.
go into Game of Thrones, like it's thought of as like these scorpions are like new technology, even though they had them like 150 years ago.
it's like
Yeah.
iPhones in America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
Because you go overseas.
if you're not going to send
Apple stores are shady.
if you're not going to send multiple dragons out in a warfare scenario,
Yeah.
when Vagar is a possibility, I can't take you seriously. I think
Yeah.
Vagar can be taken down, but you have to have more than one dragon. You have to have a series of dragons working together to eliminate that threat, because that's the only way to do it. But if you're
She's
just going to throw a
she's
tiny
a
one up
big
against the big
girl.
one,
What if we're just using
You're
this
gonna
kind of
lose
as a
every time.
threat, you know? Don't put her, old, kind of at risk, you know? Don't throw her out there on everyone, you know? Just kind of like, oh, they know we got them, you know?
yes, that is the logic, but it's been there every time.
Okay.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I get what you're
At
saying.
some point, you got to show
they're
one
not
of the
resting Vagar. They're not resting the big dragon. They're
Yeah.
sending it out all of the time.
Yeah, as a threat. It's
I
a threat.
see.
It's
a
wrecking.
threat. Yeah.
It's wrecking the other team. But every time the other team comes onto the field, they act like Vagar won't be there, and I just don't understand it.
I agree.
Like the moment she was like, "I'll go," and I was like, "No, all
Your
of you
dragon
go.
is
All
half the size
dragons
of
go.
Vagar."
Everybody
Yeah.
has to go
Yeah,
because if Vagar, first of all, if Vagar is there, you're gonna need them all to take it out, and if not, dude, you're gonna get it done in what? A quarter of the time? Like, why not take 4 dragons? Who wants to spend all day on the battlefield burning people? Let's just rip this place up and get out of here.
Correct
in time
me
for
if
dinner.
I'm wrong. The dragons that Queen Rhaenyra has much smaller than Vhagar.
No,
Yes.
100%. But
if she
you
sends
have
all of them
four-
to fight Vhagar, it's such a wild name for a female dragon. Vhagar. If you send all 4 of your dragons, Vhagar is taken out too. Easy.
Yes, but if you send one at a time, he'll kill all 4.
But you
If
gotta
you
send
send all 4 at once, you lose 2.
But you gotta know that's a
still have
suicide
to.
mission going into it.
It's a suicide mission going by yourself.
But me and my dragon don't want to go on no suicide mission.
No, but if everybody
you come to me and say, look.
But if everybody goes together and strategizes, I bet you could potentially take out Vhagar even without losing a dragon.
Because Vhagar almost got taken out with a almost lethal
Correct.
blow.
But if you had 2 other dragons on top of him at that
Yeah.
time, or her at that time,
as Rhaenys' dragon is being attacked.
Yeah.
it would have to shift focus to other dragons, and it couldn't be dialing in on one.
All right, how many other dragons? Because Rhaenyra has a dragon.
Rhaenyra has a
niece?
dragon, Luke has a dragon, Daemon has a dragon, and Daemon's daughter has a dragon.
And we got they got the unclaimed. Is Luke the husband that ran off?
Was Luke the one that died?
The black husband,
Jace or Luke
Rhaenyra's
died,
first
right?
husband, who ran off. The black guy.
Laenor.
He has a dragon that's unclaimed right now.
Yes, that's true.
So they got.
But we don't have anybody to ride him, so they don't count.
You see what I'm saying? They got 5 dragons over there.
All I'm saying is we gotta start sending out more than one.
I agree.
We need a dragon war.
We have dragons. You got to work as a team.
I also don't
This whole concept of just one's gonna go out. I just don't get it. I don't understand why.
I also don't like the fact that the way that Aegon's like death or life is being portrayed. I think we should have had a definite. We don't know if Aemon killed him or not.
Oh,
I don't like that. The fault. Like
there's a touch of mystery.
yeah.
Who's gonna say something? What happened with the dragons in the air?
Well, that touch of I don't like that touch of mystery. I don't
love
like
it.
that the fact that he fell, maybe killed him or maybe didn't. I don't like that cold.
But he's not dead.
Exactly. I don't like.
He's
that.
not dead.
He's not dead.
We
was breathing?
No, they show him.
Technically, we don't know. He's in a coma.
No, they show him in the following episode being brought back.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
know
in
what
a-
his condition
He's
is.
in a coma. He's in a coma.
Yeah.
But I don't like the fact that the fall and like his
gonna
dragon
wake
being
up.
attacked by his brother, like
He
Did he have
doesn't even
something
have
to do with it?
21st century.
yeah, I'd
21st
rather
century
like his brother.
technology.
I'd rather
knows?
like him. I'd rather like Cole catching him,
First
catching
of all,
his brother.
you run up on me and shame me in a brothel. You lucky kid. A dragon falling on you is the least of your concerns.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, let me
Don't shame me in the brothel.
Let it look like I'm
he is-
putting
okay.
the sword.
I
in
mean,
him.
I understand the dynamics. I get it.
empathize with
Aemon.
One Eye. Is it
Aemon,
was
yeah.
Aemon, right?
Yeah.
Like he's doing what he's got to do, right? He's always got the short end of the stick, but he's the sharpest sword in Westeros. But he's got some issues, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to the brothel. This is his therapist. He not even. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is getting his rocks off.
He's minding his own.
He's minding his own business.
You stand out the way.
My dickhead brother comes in here and embarrasses me,
But par for the course.
right? Now
That's what they do.
You're lucky. You're lucky that this dragon is this is the least that happened to you because he could have offered them right then and there. They don't have any. Yeah, they don't have any. Come on.
Because and this is my other
We're
thing.
learning that in the dynamic of the Targaryen dynasty, period, the relation of blood it doesn't mean anything.
No.
It doesn't mean
Who likes who?
On one instance, I could be in love with you, and in one instance, I could kill you. It means nothing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So as my brother, you disrespect me like this in front of the Knights Guard and my
Friend
friend who
takes care of me.
My mommy bear.
takes care of me, right? In my moments of
Yeah.
of need. You embarrass me. I thought he was going to kill him right then and there, and that was going to be it. But of course, the drama of TV. So, listen, I'm Team Aemon right now. I mean, not Aemon. Who? They all
Which
these
one?
Names.
One Eye?
One Eye. I'm Team
Aemon.
One Eye right now.
Aemon. Yeah. That's Aemon.
I don't feel like he did anything crazy.
Okay.
You don't embarrass me.
There it is.
in
And
front
he's
of
known
my,
he's also known for killing his relatives. So it's not past him to kill his brother.
yeah.
All right.
He killed his cousin.
And shout out to all the black representation on here. We got a lot of black people on here. All kinds of them. We got dreads, we got blonde dreads, bald heads. They all over the place, just doing stuff.
Next episode we might get a fade.
Westeros is popping with black people. I love it.
Next episode
It's like downtown Baltimore right now.
But do
Got
they have
Patrick
dragons?
Sebi on there.
But they don't have dragons.
But they don't have dragons.
Yeah, they don't have dragons.
Maybe next season, guys. I'm just kidding. It'll be fine.
I know you're.
You guys are doing great. You guys are running the sea and the whole thing.
We got
You guys are running the whole ocean.
debunking the rumor that black people can't swim.
Oh, dude. 100%.
Come on now. Super
look at that.
debunking it.
There's
We
black guys saving black guys in the water. Yeah.
Come
Look
on
at
now.
that.
Let's
Dude,
do it.
Thank
you,
I've
HBO.
not
Black on
even
black crime
seen a
where?
white person in the water.
Black on black crime where? It's not happening.
That's right. God bless, dude.
Wait till he turns on him.
Not an overlay. Not
Episode
an
6.
Yeah, there's something weird cooking up there. I don't know. In the last episode, there was like an odd interaction between the two.
Yeah.
We're running along in this episode.
That's his.
Sorry.
Wait,
that's his son.
That's his son. His bastard.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. There's something cooking up there, though.
But he's bald.
Sure.
That's because
He got to get a prosthetic.
He doesn't want an association with his dad.
There have been
is what that
so
is.
many-
He's real black life bald though.
But
He's a real black man bald.
And I think
so how are they gonna?
I think he's using that as he doesn't want association with his father.
Maybe he's
Because
shaving
his
his
father
head.
doesn't want association with him.
Maybe he's shaving his head.
That's what I'm-
So
I'm-
he can't be
yeah.
recognized. But I feel like
He black-
over the last several episodes, there have been a lot of scenes involving that family
yes.
in like weird conversations that I'm like, what are we talking about? What is happening?
That aren't gonna come to play
I'm sure
until
somebody's
later
tracking
on.
it and is like, I've read the
Yeah.
books. I know exactly what's going on. So there's obviously more
Yeah.
baking there.
Oh, so
But
thank you for bringing that up.
I don't-
Real quick, I know we're
carry on.
pressing for time.
Yeah, we are.
My boy that
Carry on.
I
Yeah,
talked
we are
about last week, my man Danny. So every week after I watch
Danny
Game
boy.
of Thrones, my man Danny calls me, and he's read all of the books, and it's crazy. He's giving me this context. He told me that the show is an interpretation of how the books, like a reflection of the books. So, but the books are a compilation of stories from the maesters, whoever were the maesters of the kings.
Yes.
So in some instances, it could be propaganda or it could be the truth. We're watching it as, oh, this is the story. It's all linear. No, we're watching it as it could be told from the aspect of one maester where the Targaryens just came in and just slaughtered everybody. Then we could be who are they're pro-Targaryen, or we could be watching it from another maester's perspective from his book that it's the Targaryens, they were a horrible family from both sides and they were just slaughtering people and,
Sure.
and having sex with their own people and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So that is how the show is being kind of like positioned to us, that, you know, we get one episode where, oh man, Targaryens take a loss, and then in the next episode they're just slaughtering everybody. I just thought that was an interesting take because I didn't think that.
That is an interesting take.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that they've
it's
done
kind
a
of
great
like
job of setting that up.
I hate this, not to say it, but the books of
Say it.
Game of Thrones are
It is.
put together kind of like how the Bible is. Kind of
That's what I
it's
was about to
told
say.
from the perspective of it's not told from the perspective of Jesus. It's told from the people who follow him. Right.
Viewpoints of the people
So-
who are there.
There you go. Yeah. So Judas may have a point, and then, you know, somebody else may be like, oh, no, I don't feel like that's
What if
right account.
the world population as we know it gets wiped out, the Bible is destroyed, and somebody in the future finds Game of Thrones, the series,
I thought you were going to say Trump's website.
and then all of a sudden, well, yeah, that lives on in the National Archive, but
They find
what
Game of
if-
Thrones.
yeah, and then that becomes
The history of America.
the history of
They
America.
find a DVD set
Slash
in a time
Bible,
capsule,
dude.
and they're like, is this what America was?
I think it was in middle school. We read a book. I can't remember what it was called, but it basically was that the world had basically ended because of junk mail, and every square inch of the ground was like covered in junk mail. And then at some point, this civilization rises up, and they just believe all of the advertisements and all the junk
That's what I'm
mail
saying.
and
Yeah.
whatever it is that they found.
I think I've seen, or I think I've heard of that.
Same idea.
Yeah, that sounds like idiocracy.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Yes.
Or
All right.
Fallout. Same shit.
Holiday soft red wheat.
Very good.
Let's get some thoughts
Yeah,
on
it's
it before
good.
we close out. I thought it was very nice. It's
Yeah.
got very good flavor.
Very
I
nice.
like it on a little ice. It's nice.
Yeah, man.
Not to
I'm not
rhyme.
usually a fan of
Touch of
weed
ice in
whiskeys, but that's good.
It's a good one, man. Good call.
Easy to drink, but it tastes great. Very good.
Very
flavor.
good taste.
I think. I mean, it's just it.
Yeah.
Tastes like something good. That's all. That's all I gotta say. All right. Well, that's it, dude. 86, baby. We're in and out.
Back.